Before I started working with you, I found that I felt quite overwhelmed with day-to-day tasks. So I often would find myself thinking I can't manage what is in front of me. And I also found that even though I wanted to make healthy changes, or both for myself and my family, that I would do a task for a few days. And then when a curveball came up in life, I would often let go of things that were good for me and in order to do the things that were coming up. I wasn't able to be consistent with things that were for my own wellness or for my enjoyment. Before doing this work together, I often found that the things that popped up in my life controlled how the schedule went. So I would look at my email and be like, oh, I need to do this. Or I would be looking in three different spots to figure out what each person in the family was doing rather than having a consolidated calendar for all of us. I also found that I went into situations feeling quite overwhelmed to begin with. So even though it was a planned activity, my mind would be thinking about the next thing that I had to do or be worried about the thing that I was going to forget. I felt quite unbalanced. One of the things that I've learned that was actually quite profound for me was that doing more doesn't actually make things better or that it doesn't actually mean that you're being more efficient. I learned that by creating boundaries and time for me to rest and time for me to do things that are fun and fulfilling for myself, that it actually gives me more capacity to be able to do not only things that I want to do, but things that need to happen. And I didn't realize this until I actually started practicing it. What I found has been a big impact from this program was that I've gained a better awareness about how I'm feeling and how my body reacts to different feelings. Now that I'm aware of how I hold stress or overwhelm in my body, and I've learned to trust that I know how I'm feeling, and that when I have feelings of overwhelm or anxiety or things that are harder to sit with, that I have now a list of tools that I can use to help work through it. One of the big shifts for me now is I don't feel like I am running on empty. I feel like I am quite full, and that I'm able to make adjustments based on what I feel I need or what my family needs, not based on urgency. I think one of the biggest changes that has happened in the way I respond when people ask things of me is, first of all, I look at what I have available to give. And what I learned is that actually setting aside clear timelines of when I'm going to do certain aspects of work, whether it's personal or work related, is actually kinder to both myself and the other person, because then I can show up to what I've committed to in a way being present and clear and organized, as opposed to trying to move around my schedule to make accommodations based on other people's needs. And so I think the biggest result for me is that I am more intentional with my time, and I clearly am still learning how to carve out specific times for different tasks. And then if someone asks, I can then look and say, oh, I have time on these days. And so a big shift is that I'm no longer available all of the time, but I have very specific time that I can do things for people. I feel very strong and steady, and I feel very resourced. Like I feel very ready to take on what comes my way. I feel calm. It's understandable that you're having these feelings, and that there are ways and tools that you can change the way that you feel, and that looking into a program like Anne's that allows you to invest in yourself and invest in making subtle but profound changes will really have an impact. And you are deserving of rest. You are deserving of joy. You are deserving of having boundaries and the ability to voice what it is that you need and want in a way that can be kind and firm to other people. First, when I was thinking about doing a coaching program, I was not sure if the investment, I was considering like, oh, is it worth the investment? And I think that it is both investment financially and time. It is worth all of that and more, because for me, the fact that the program was so tailored to my strengths and my needs made it so that it really had a really quick impact. I couldn't understand or know that going in, but as I experienced it, I was like, wow, this is more than another checklist. It's more than add more to your plate. It's actually a lifestyle change, as opposed to do this for 6 weeks and see some results and move on to old habits. And so I think that for me, that was the greatest surprise in the coaching, was that it actually wasn't just a quick fix and then move on. It was a shifting of a lifestyle and a mindset that sets a foundation for what I'm thinking is going to be many years to come.